something different, maybe a Karma. But yeah, we don't normally even see Gwen getting banned or picked in EU anymore. If it does, it generally hinders the team. So I feel like the meta shift on that one is a little bit different, especially with the supports going up into the Baron lane early game is a little bit more tricky for that Gwen to shine. But we're seeing the Ornn ban come through as well as the Ziggs. Once banned in the last match, but Ziggs actually didn't get picked in the second match where he wasn't banned. So very interested about that one.
Yeah, the Ornn ban in particular is interesting because it is a powerful engaged tank Baron laner, but oftentimes we're seeing the carries being prioritized, and they will continue to be prioritized here, as 9 Lives will lock in the Camille for themselves as the first pick.
Yep, they have that Hextech Ultimatum in their utility Batman belt for the team. It'll be interesting to see if they go for the Galio again, because obviously the synergy from the Camille and the Galio is always an excellent thing. Once again, Gragas was pretty much priority banned in the last match, but does actually seem to survive the Banhammer this time, as well as the Kaiser, which seems to be very popular within NA right now, whether it's the AP Kaiser in mid lane, or she goes and back to her vanilla role in the duo lane. And then on the side of 9 Lives, we get the Ezreal and Vladimir come out. So Vlad actually surfacing once again.
I am kind of surprised that we do not see a Galio locked in from 9 Lives, opting for the Ezreal instead. Could have been a Galio Senna angle. The Galio pairs incredibly well with the Camille. Senna on top of it with that global ultimate feels pretty good, but they're going for a very different look here with Ezreal and Vladimir instead. So Vladimir will be going into that mid lane. We saw the power of it in the series earlier today. I believe it is only 50-50 though. I was seeing that somebody mentioned that in chat earlier. I'm not sure if we can get confirmation on that stat, but so far in the tournament hasn't been 100% win rate, but it is still very tricky to deal with, and it will be Akali matched up into that. Akali can threaten a Vladimir, especially if you get off the ground running, but it can still be tough. It is a ranged versus melee matchup, so as the Akali, you have to be pretty comfortable, and a lot of people just aren't comfortable playing against Vladimir yet.
Definitely, and we're seeing here that APHRO Z3 are actually reading the room here in terms of the draft. They aren't just sort of thinking of a pre-organized draft and then going for it. They have read the room. They have banned the Galio out on that last ban there, so I think that's probably a detrimental ban for 9 Lives, especially for the synergy of Camille, but also the Galio onto the Vladimir is also a troublesome one as well. We do see Shen come through, so are we going to be seeing that Shen jungle for APHRO Z? That'd be really interesting to witness in NA. We don't really see that Shen come through.
Blaziken was just talking about that. Shen jungle being played on the Chinese server, kind of what Leona was being played earlier today. Yeah. But there is still a chance that it is just the Baron lane Shen. Gragas could be support, maybe jungle, Akali mid, Kai'Sa bot, and they could be saving their jungle or their a support pick for this last one. It'll be Nautilus and Lee Sin locked in for 9 Lives. Very interesting draft that they have for themselves. In terms of AP to AD spread, it's really just Vladimir going for the AP damage. It's nice because that means you don't probably need to build a lot of magic penetration, because your opponents will be incentivized to build armor instead of magic resist. But I'm just struggling to see a clear identity of what this team really wants to accomplish together. And it will be the Corki locked in then finally for APHRO. So that means it will be, let's see where they actually assign everything. It could be that Shen in the jungle.
Yeah. Shen in the jungle, like we saw Blaziken talk about earlier. So predicting he's the Nostradamus of Wild Rift. Seeing that the Shen has come through into the jungle. I don't think that's going to switch around yet. Don't play with the caster's hearts here, bringing that.
Yeah, the players are having some fun swapping things around.
Yeah, she had a little brief moment in the jungle after that other patch, and then Riot was just like, no, let's get Jungle Kai'Sa completely out of there. But to see on the reverse side, so 9 Lives there going with Ezreal and Nautilus down in the bot lane, Vlad in the mid once again. Lee Sin, generally a obviously more technically higher playstyle in terms of jungle, especially when you're going into the likes of the Shen as well. Lee Sin there to try and get to make something out of that back line on the side of APHRO, especially with the Corki and the Kai'Sa. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on.
Biggest thing I want to highlight is that the Akali's put into that Camille lane and the Corki's going mid into the Vladimir. I like range into Vladimir much more than melee into Vladimir. You can actually punish him a little bit harder. It's harder for him to try and heal off of you. You can deny that a little bit more easily. He has to walk up into the minion wave to hit you if you're playing the matchup correctly. But the Akali can get locked down by the Camille. You have the Shroud to go invisible, so if she does use that Hextech ultimatum, you can stall a lot of time, and you have the Shen in your back pocket as well. But I do still favor generally the Camille when it comes to the all-in potential and just being able to blow up the Akali. You have the Grasp of the Undying too, so you're going to be a little bit healthier in that lane. We'll see how that actually happens here, though, because it's been a while since I've played a Camille, and I've never played it into Akali in lane, so I could be a little off the mark here. We'll see how Wizzle actually wants to pull this one out.
The Shroud is probably a very good call, but it depends if 9 Lives has it in their grasp to sort of put more pressure in other lanes. So if that's the case, then Shen has to sort of make that vital decision. Does he save his Baron laner? Does he go somewhere else where they're getting picked off, or generally at a faster rate than the Akali? So I think it's down to 9 Lives to sort of try and put that pressure on to make the Shen sort of second guess where he's going with that ultimate. Because obviously massive cooldown reduction, massive cooldown onto Shen's ult. Makes you think twice where you should be placing it. But the Camille and the Akali combo is very interesting. We don't see often, especially within EU. It's generally another sort of very bruiser-centric champion, like a Renekton or a Garen or a Jax. But we didn't see the Fiora ban, so I'm interested that we didn't see the Fiora come out. It's generally those two going neck to neck.
Can be champ pool, can be a lot of different reasons, but we are into game, and as we catch up on what's been going on so far, junglers are having opposite starts right now and pathing towards opposite sides of the rift. We see some defensive warding that APHRO put down just in case there's an invade, but speaking of, early gank mid here, the Apollo will go through the mid lane, show himself as he passes towards the top camps.
Yeah, Lee Sin missing out that first ability there onto the Corki, so missing out a little bit of damage there for the sakes of Vlad, but there is a lot of push going on the side of red team in the Baron lane. The Akali is pushed towards the turret. Shen here looking to be denied that scuttle. We see that the Nautilus goes in with the knockup of the first ability, but Shen has actually been given back up here. We could see the Vlad go down. Or the Nautilus, he has the Ignite onto it. Ooh! Gragas just missing out just ever so slightly with the damage, but Akali's still here. But we do have Camille still there. She could knock up the Akali if she tries to intercept and take the kill on the Nautilus.
Very close.
Well played by APHRO there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Basically completely taking that deny of the scuttle off the table and allowing it to still go to Shen.
I want to talk about what happened, though, because we committed time from Nautilus to go up. We had the roam from Vlad as well. Where was Apollo? The Lee Sin was on blue buff as opposed to helping contest. If Lee Sin is there, they get the scuttle, and then you can go to the top camps. I think that was just miscommunication. I mean, if you're investing your support roaming up for that, I love the initial idea, but you need your jungler to actually commit to the play with. The support in the mid laner will probably not be able to deny that scuttle on their own. So I want to see more coordination coming out here from 9 Lives.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's worth talking about is the priority for the blue buff over going in and possibly even getting first blood for your team. Because, I mean, the gold addition to that first blood would always be a great thing for the team's outcome early game. But to be fair, the way that the Corki was rotating up as well, I think we probably would have saw more of a either 1-1 trade or even possibly a 2-1 trade, depending on how well they did in terms of damage. But Camille looking pretty low in health there. She's halfway down in the health pool. Akali looking pretty healthy so far. But
neither of the Baron laners are backed yet. So they're just still trading here. If junglers start to influence this lane, the junglers have backed. So they can look to take big dives right now. I actually think Garu's got to be very careful. Reaper has the Shen ultimate. They can use that to just keep Akali alive. And Garu, okay, good spawn there of the health. So he gets the fruit and will probably not die to this gank anymore. Even as the Lee Sin in the back box. So Apollo's reading this too.
Yep. A lot going on in that mid lane. We've got the Nautilus rotated up to respond to the Gragas as well. He was temporarily keeping posted in that bush, but Nautilus is up there. Nautilus should try his best to stay out of this, trying to go in on the jungle, probably just to give vision to his team, to let them know that a lot of them are down on the bottom side of the map there, with Shen, Gragas, and the Corki rotating back up into the mid lane. Oh, Lee Sin coming in here with the Shroud, like we said in that draft. Nicely done by Whistle there.
Yeah, Lee Sin can spot the Akali if you land the ability, but Akali was actually a really smart move from Whistle, but they're still committing to the dive. There's the Shen ult.
Under the turrets. There's that Nautilus ult onto the Akali. Akali gets picked off, but currently looking pretty low is the Nautilus, is the Camille. We see that Shen gets a kill onto the Nautilus and Gragas getting a kill onto the Camille there. So currently a 2-1 trade for APHRO. So what kind of felt like a nice easy kill for 9 lives with that 4v1 under the turret actually turned into a 2-1 on the side of APHRO.
Ramita having a really good roam right there, matching Kevy on the Nautilus and having that explosive cast to keep Garu locked in place. It almost hit Incent, but it didn't matter. They still got a second kill after the fact onto Kevy. So 2-1 in favor of APHRO, even though they lose that first blood gold. I don't believe they were the first ones to pick it up. I think that was grabbed there by Garu. Now we're back onto the map here. It looks like focus on the Herald. No answer into the Dragon yet by 9 lives. So if APHRO can get this Herald, this is a really good play for them.
Yeah, I think we see that Apollo here is thinking that APHRO are going to go for the Rift Herald. Rightfully so, because their mid lane is damaged. So I think if they drop the Rift Herald there, all it takes is a little bit more damage on the side. On APHRO there. They have the mid lane turret already damaged, so dropping the Rift Herald would probably be... No, actually, yeah, looking at that health pool, I think it probably would take out the the mid lane turret.
It could take out the turret, but I think it also just distracts your opponent. A hook feels good too. They don't commit on the Ramita. Interesting. I thought Kevy would have just thrown out the ultimate right there. You have the damage behind you, but I suppose they're not confident in their ability to body block the body slam from Gragas, so Ramita gets out. But it's a dance for the Dragon right now. Both of these teams want this one, and I do favor 9 lives setup currently, but as I said, they're letting them in. Big hook again.
Big hook again, but we see the Corki go over the wall. Shen going in onto Corki as well. We see Ramita taking a lot of damage from the Gragas there. Gets taken out by Vlad. Nicely done. We see the Kaiser rotate up and take some kill. Was it? No, it wasn't a kill. We thought we were going to see a kill onto the Nautilus or the Ezreal, but both of them managed to actually escape that team fight. But we do see the Rift Herald drop down in the mid lane. Mid lane does go down as the Shen takes the Mountain Drake, which is going to be massive for the likes of the Shen and the Gragas in terms of the shield.
Yeah, you get a much bigger health bar now. They have a gold lead for themselves. It looks like APHRO actually are doing a really good job of controlling this game. There was a period there where I favored 9 lives' approach because they had everyone grouped together. That hook onto Tengen was huge, but Ramita survived for much longer than I was expecting there. The Gragas just took forever to die. That second ability, damage reduction, really paying off dividends here. And now has the stasis, so now it's not even a good chance to look at picks onto Gragas. I feel like you're just kind of wasting your time if you do that. So the game's not going to get easier here for 9 lives. They could maybe look to play through the Camille, who had that first blood, but is still behind in gold to Whistle because of everything else that happened afterwards. Maybe that is their win condition from this point on, though.
Yeah. It's still anyone's game at this point. I mean, they're only 3-2 in terms of the kills. Okay, X-Tech Ultimatum onto the Kali once again, but we do see that Ramita gets in there. He uses the ult to push them, tries to push them into the turret, but not quite travel as far as they hoped. Shen ult onto Ramita here to keep him alive. It is now a 4v3 in the top lane, whilst we see Vlad and Corki juke it out, but Kali goes in, takes out the Ezreal, but managing Shen to get the last hit there. Lee Sin taking out Ramita, though, in the back line. Double kill for Apollo there. But could we see a triple kill? No. He just dashes out in time, and then the Kali.
Oh, yeah, the Kaisa here might just clean up one door. Not enough damage there. Not yet. But 2-item Kaisa is terrifying. Whew, Souls doing their best. Hey, look at me impression right there. Everybody just dove in onto the Ezreal, and it looked good to start. True Shot Barrage almost gets another kill there. But the fact that Souls is traded for 2 more, almost a third, That's not a bad look there from 9 Lives. It looked like it was going to be much worse for them. And I think Hexaton, if they didn't show up at that moment, that could have been a triple kill over to Apollo. 2-0-2 on the Lee Sin, off the ground running, and is still looking for another play now bot lane.
Definitely, he's got the taste for blood after getting that double kill in the top lane. We see the Camille going onto the Gragas. The Hextech ultimatum does cancel there. Shen once again with a life-saving coming in. Corki taking out Apollo there, so giving a bit of a taste of his own medicine. He does fall down. But we do see that the Akali and the Kai'Sa are rotating down as well. It's going to be a full brawl in this bot lane. It seems they're trying to get some kills. They're taking the bot lane turret as well. That is 2 turrets to 0 for APHRO.
Yeah, not quite good communication again there from 9 Lives. Kevy using the CC abilities while Garu's running away. I mean, they get the Ezreal damage in there. Maybe there's an angle where you could try and kill Hexaton, but either way, it is APHRO controlling this game, and Reaper is just a monster right now. This Shen, wherever that ult goes, they are winning those fights. I was focused on Apollo, 2-0-2 at the time, thinking, okay, the Lee Sin's off the ground running. Did not realize Reaper was still 2,000 gold ahead of him. This Shen hurts right now and is almost impossible to kill as well. Makes this game very difficult for 9 Lives to play out. They can't look for picks because the Shen shield will just save anybody they try and kill. It's going to be a nightmare to actually team fight because you're trying to get on top of all these ranged champions that can also dive in on top of you along with assassins and engage. So, I mean, I do not envy 9 Lives' position right now. It seems like APHRO can play this game out pretty comfortably, pretty smoothly, and look for a victory in their first game of this best of 3.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth noting that Shen gold difference to the Lee Sin. To be fair, the help from the Sunfire Cape as well when it comes to farming up for the Shen, it's going to make his farm a lot quicker in terms of the Lee Sin. We saw Lee Sin take a lot of heavy lane priority towards the beginning of the match, whereas Shen was pretty much, because of his ult, he's able to farm, but he's also able to go into any lane that he wishes with that ultimate. We see a little bit of a possible brewing up here in the mid lane. Akali running down the lane, but we also have a lot of APHRO on the side of the Drake looking to take the second one. They take Ocean Drake very quickly there. That is their trouble. Dragon of the match. Yep, empowering that Mountain Drake. That Gragas just missing out though, which is unfortunate, but Kai'Sa giving a lot of damage onto the Nautilus, forcing the flash. He gets back into there, but Shen gets the last hit onto Nautilus. Currently cutting out the Lee Sin for the rest of his team. Vlad there, getting a kill. Okay. Oh, Shen's ult saving the Kai'Sa.
I think Kai'Sa might have lived regardless. Soul's got a little hyphy right there thinking, this is my moment. This is my highlight reel, baby. Not meant to be. They lose a couple members here, and yeah, they're losing a lot on the map as well. The top turret, the bot tier 2 turret. APHRO have the gold lead, and they're not interested in sharing in the slightest. Going for the dragon, and a big engage from Ramita. Ramita has been having an incredible game so far. This Gragas has soaked so much pressure and found a lot of really clutch engages. I know that the explosive cast missed there, but it was dodged. It was a flash out of the Ezreal and still a Vladimir who's very hard to hit. Either way, you're pushing the opponent out of the area. They earn themselves a Baron after the team fight and getting all that gold for themselves. So the game only gets easier for APHRO from here on out.
Yeah, the jungle priority on the side of APHRO right now is just crazy. The fact that I'll say it once and I'll say it again, Shen just having that within his kit, being able to get into any lane that he wishes, protect any of his teammates when he wants, but then also being able to just be like, yo, you know what, I can just farm. I've got way more gold than enemy jungle right now. We're looking pretty much almost at that 4k gold difference. A bit of a fight going on.
Reaper just bought a full Warmogs, by the way, on that last match. Turned the cloth armor into a bramble vest and said, nah, never mind, let's undo that and just get the Warmog itself. And the siege begins here for APHRO. They can walk the Baron minions in. I imagine they'll get at least one inhibitor turret, as they currently have Reaper, the jungler, split pushing the top lane. I actually like this. As a jungler, oftentimes people hard focus on just clearing camps. It's fine to push waves, especially if you are the Shen in situations like this, because they can't answer you. They're going to go for the play in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Watch for Shen ult.
Stuck in there, getting caught out from his team. That was nice separation from 9 lives there. So well played to Apollo for kicking the Gragas into their base. Oh, Akali just missing out that ability onto the Vlad. Ezreal there trying to do some sort of wave clear with that barrage, but still doesn't quite keep the inhibitor alive. So that is 2 inhibitors down for 9 lives, which is just a bit unfortunate for them. It's kind of hard to see where they can come back from this, knowing that 2 of their lanes have the super minions now, and they still have a Shen that is shed loads ahead in terms of the gold.
Even when Ramita dies, the team still gets more done for it. They lose 1 member, but they get the 2 inhibitors. That is well worth the time and the life of their support, who is one of 2 players to go down yet. Wizzle almost had a big moment there trying to take down Incent, who had to flash away. The only other member who has died. But there are 3 members on APHRO who have yet to give up a kill to their opponent. Maybe that changes here. Tengen could get caught. Never mind. He is fine.
Forcing the flash on Camille. A bit naughty there from Garu, forcing the flash so he no longer has it in his kit, but yet they can still traverse the map with Camille's kit there, so it's not the end of the world, but it could be the end of that Baron lane inhibitor. But Shen possibly getting caught out here. He does have the ult, but I don't think he'll be able to escape.
Surely he doesn't win
out of this one, but he's going a 3v1. He's trying his best.
Reaper!
Reaper's still alive.
Somebody check this player's control. Check the router. I don't know. Check something. I'm calling sus right there. How does Reaper live? That is insane. This Shen is so strong. I mean, props to 9 Lives for almost killing him to begin with, finding the Shen in that position, but they lose another inhibitor for that, so that is twice now we see the macro not working out in their favor. There will be supers in every single lane as both objectives are spotted on the map. So APHRO have their choice. Do we want to go for the Baron, or do we just want to go for the 3rd dragon? And it looks like they are prioritizing the dragon as Reaper is already there on spawn.
Yep, it is that 3 dragon win condition that we saw from the last best of 3 here. But yeah, props to Reaper surviving that 3v1. But I mean, he's pretty much got the confidence now. He can pretty much survive anything, especially with the damage from his team. Porky taking out the Nautilus. Down goes 1 of the front line there. Camille looking to try and do some sort of push in the Baron lane whilst they take the 3rd and final dragon, other than the Elder Dragon in this match. But still, the push in this lane for the Baron lane has not been the fastest. They've just got to the 2nd tier turret, and that's it. It's kind of lackluster there as we see APHRO rotating up.
3 items on Incent is really the only win condition that I've been able to identify here from the side of 9 Lives. A Vladimir maybe can get a big team fight. Felt like that last one could have been the angle if they were there a little faster. Ezreal's making something happen, though.
Yeah, they're pushing for that Rift Herald. They are making waves on that Rift Herald, Baron Nashor, sorry, currently, as they fight in the mid lane. They get Baron Nashor. They don't lose a champion either. There we go, double kill for Kaiser. Oh, we get pulled in once again. Shen getting pulled in. He goes in on his own remorse this time around. He's like, yeah, I mean, you can pull me into the fight, but I'm going to be there anyway. Takes down the Ezreal. They go down and take the Nautilus as well, but this could just be the Nexus. Taken down with the minions, with the Baron Nashor buff right at the base, and I think it's going to be 1-0 to APHRO.
Wow. What a statement game there. Specifically, Hexaton on the Kai'Sa at the very end just says, I'll do it myself. I'm just going to run in front line for the team and just rip and tear through everybody. There really wasn't a big angle where 9 Lives could slow that game down. They were trying their best to try and get these picks, but every time they would go for somebody with a Hextech ultimatum, it was either on the Akali, who had the Shroud. We highlighted how much time you can waste with that ability. And then it was also onto Ramita, who on the Gragas would just throw out the explosive cask or just press second ability and be like, okay, well, like I'm locked down, but you can't kill me. I'm way too tanky for you to actually get through because they were already behind in gold. And they just didn't have options. I think the only option maybe they could have gone for, I'm curious to hear Blaziken's thoughts because we'll get him in here in a second, is put Garu into the Corki lane and try and get Incent on the Vladimir going up against the Akali, because then you can at least lock somebody down with that ultimatum. But there really weren't many options outside of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It'll be interesting to get Blaziken's insight, so we are going to hand it over to him now.
Yeah, so I know I want to address what Kanga said, but this game I want to